Hello, and welcome to BigBookCTK.com. My name is Pussy, and today I am reading from Silas Marner by George Eliot, Chapter 5. When Dunstan Cass turned his back on the cottage, Silas Marner was not more than 100 yards away from it, plodding along from the village with a sack thrown round his shoulders as an overcoat, and with a horn lantern in his hand. His legs were weary, but his mind was at ease, free from the presentiment of change. The sense of security more frequently springs from habit than from conviction, and for this reason it often subsists after such a change in the conditions as might have been expected to suggest alarm. The lapse of time during which a given event has not happened is, in this logic of habit, constantly alleged as a reason why the event should never happen, even when the lapse of time is precisely the added condition which makes the event imminent. A man will tell you that he has worked in a mine for 40 years unhurt by an accident as a reason why he should apprehend no danger, though the roof is beginning to sink. And it is often observable that the older a man gets, the more difficult it is to him to retain a believing conception of his own death. This influence of habit was necessarily strong, and a man whose life was so monotonous as Marner's, who saw no new people and heard of no new events, to keep alive in him the idea of the unexpected and the changeful, and it explains, simply enough, why his mind could be at ease, though he had left his house and his treasure more defenceless than usual. Silas was thinking with double complacency of his supper. First, because it would be hot and savory, and secondly, because it would cost him nothing, for the little bit of pork was a present from that excellent housewife, Miss Priscilla Lammerton, to whom he had this day carried home a handsome piece of linen, and it was only on occasion of a present like this that Silas indulged himself with roast meat. Supper was his favorite meal because it came at his time of revelry, when his heart warmed over his gold. Whenever he had roast meat, he always chose to have it for supper. But this evening he had no sooner ingeniously knotted his string fast round his bit of pork, twisted the string according to rule over his door key, passed it through the handle, and made it fast on the hanger, than he remembered that a piece of very fine twine was indispensable to his setting up a new piece of work in his loom early in the morning. It had slipped his memory because, in coming from Mr. Lammerton's, he had not had to pass through the village, but to lose time by going on errands in the morning was out of the question. It was a nasty fog to turn out into, but there were things Silas loved better than his own comfort. So, drawing his pork to the extremity of the hanger, and arming himself with his lantern and his old sack, he set out on what, in ordinary weather, would have been a 20-minute errand. He could not have locked his door without undoing his well-knotted string and retarding his supper. It was not worth his while to make that sacrifice. What thief would find his way to the stone pit on such a night as this? And why should he come on this particular night, when he had never come through all the 15 years before? These questions were not distinctly present in Silas' mind. They merely served to represent the vaguely felt foundation of his freedom from anxiety. Thank you very much for watching. You've been listening to Silas Marner by George Eliot. My name is Pussy, and this is BigBookCTK.com. Thank you very much, and bye for now.